close-up look at all your Concho Valley High School football. This is Inside the Game. Sponsored by Mitchell Automotive Group.
Welcome to Inside the Game on KSAN. I'm your host, Keon Russell, and after tonight, we are officially only 1 week away from the 2023 postseason. But tonight, we had an abundance of fun and exciting games right here in the Concho Valley. We begin the show with the Central Bobcats. The Bobcats have lost their last 6 games on the year and are 1-7 overall coming into week 10 of the season. Central's 12-year streak of making the postseason could be in jeopardy here tonight, and this one if they do not walk away with the win. We were able to catch up with head coach Kevin Crane about the mindset for their next 2 games. Let's watch.
They're up to the challenge, and you know, they kind of know what's ahead of them, and they know what they got to do. And talked about it this weekend, you know, on Saturday when we met, and you know, we hope that we can continue our playoff run. And like I said, you know, our back's to the wall, but we still got a chance. So hopefully we come out and play our very best game that we played up to this point on Friday, and that's the goal, and we'll see what we can do.
The Central Bobcats looking for win number 1 here tonight versus district opponent Odessa Permian. Opening drive for Permian, Justice Laura takes the handoff and wins the foot race. 51-yard touchdown for Laura on the senior night. Mojo leads 7-0 after just 4 plays. Next drive, Jacob Garcia has time, short pass to Nora Adams and takes a few good blocks, and there is no one going to catch him. Adams takes it 77 yards to the crib. 14-0 Odessa Permian. All right, ensuing kickoff. Short kick by Jacob Franco, and it's muffed. The Panthers fall on top of it, and they're right back in business. They take advantage of the short field, and Laura plunges in for his second score of the night. Permian leads this one 21-0 with 7 minutes remaining inside the first quarter. Central falls in this one 42-14 tonight, dropping their 7th straight on the season. The TOCA San Angelo Eagles are looking to secure themselves a trip to the 2023 postseason, coming into Week 10 at 4-4 overall and 1-2 in district play. They took on the winless Ballinger Bearcats here tonight and are looking to go 5-4 as they lead 36-21 right now late in the 4th quarter in that ball game. Up next, we have the Grape Creek Eagles, still searching for that first win on the season. More importantly, a district win. Taking on the 3-5 Brady Bulldogs, who are coming off a district win over the Ballinger Bearcats as well in Week 9. These two met here tonight for the 12th time ever, and the Brady Bulldogs held the 11-0 series lead coming into this one, but Grape Creek says no longer. They win tonight 20-13 for their first win of the season. Staying right here in District 2-3A, we have the Wall Hawks taking on that came off the win against the Mason Punchers. The Hawks have hung 60 points on their last 3 opponents, not giving them much of a chance at all. Tonight, the Hawks have a chance to repeat as District 2-3A champions with a win over the early Longhorns. We were able to catch up with head coach Houston Guy before the huge showdown of a matchup. Let's hear what he had to say.
Well, it solidifies your spot in the district race. You know, it puts you in the #1 seed, which gives you a really good placement going into the playoffs. And so that's the biggest thing about winning that game Friday night. And so, you know, winning that game would be a feather in your hat, but district playoff placement is going to be the key of winning that one.
I think it's fun because it's just a lot of intensity. You know, I mean, back and forth. I mean, we won last year, and hopefully we can keep that going, but I just feel like it creates a bunch of competition. It just makes for a better game.
Wall versus early in this one. Defense came to play early trying to run the ball here, but is met with Brylan White, who gets there to first, and then the rest of the teammates tag along for the big-time stop. Defense at it again here for the Hawks. Early tosses it out to their wide receiver. He gets up the sideline before he is met by 3 Wall Hawk defenders right there and absolutely levels him out of bounds, knocking his helmet off. Defense, defense, defense has been the calling card for the Hawks all night long. They get the strip fumble right here on this play and the running back, and Nathan Pepper recovers to set Wall up in great field position. The rain started to pick up here in the second, but that didn't stop Gunnar Dillard as he drives back and throws a beauty to Brylan White over 2 Longhorn defenders for the touchdown. Wall wins this one tonight over early 50-6. The Cristobal Cougars and the Sonora Broncos have had a polar opposite season so far here in 2023, but one district win can change the entire trajectory of your team at this time of the season. The Cristobal Cougars on the road tonight taking on the Sonora Broncos. All right, pick this one up in the second quarter. Still scoreless. The Cougars offense getting some movement. Jace Cobb takes the handoff, gets it outside, finds some space, and has a huge gain for Cristoval's offense on the first down. Still in the second quarter. Back the other way. Seen this a lot this year. Edgar DeLuna with the handoff goes right up the middle, untouched, and in for 6, and the game's first touchdown. Score still 8-0 Broncos. He can score touchdowns on offense, and he can score touchdowns on defense. Edgar DeLuna steps in front of the pass and is gone the other way for another touchdown score. Sonora would get the win here tonight over the Cristoval Cougars, 46-0. The Ozona Lions took on the Forsan Buffaloes in this one tonight. Coming into this one, the winner takes sole possession of number 2 spot within District 3 2A. These two met last season, which saw the Buffaloes run away with that one 47-14. Tonight, the Ozona Lions came to play and get their revenge, defeating the Buffaloes 28-14. All right, stay with us. We'll be back with more Inside the Game right here after the break.
Rose's Cafe's delicious steak fajita and egg breakfast taco. Try one today.
On Season 6 of Fansville by Dr. Pepper, things are heating up.
Mom, Dad, I have a girlfriend, and she likes college football.
The stars have arrived.
I've made my choice. This season, I will be drinking Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream.
And everyone wants a taste of fame.
Welcome back to Chuck's Take, because every fan needs a podcast.
To get a thick color, I use 2 coats of maroon. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
I love your nails.
Thank you.
West Texas Rehab Center has been helping our neighbors since 1953. Our Employer Services Department is your one-stop shop for ensuring you hire the very best employee. Serving over 500 area businesses, we are proud that companies like Glazer's Beer and Beverage trust us with their pre-employment needs.
WorkSteps is a great tool that will allow us to gauge whether they can do the job or not. We would like to thank West Texas Rehab for providing an invaluable service to ensure the safety of our future employees.
Moving family and business offices locally and long distance for over 50 years, Welch Transfer and Storage is your primary local moving company. Our family of professional movers provide quality, secure packing and damage-free moving services you can afford. Whether you are needing a large warehouse space or climate-controlled storage, we have you covered. When you are planning your next move across town or the country, call Welch Transfer and Storage. We don't just move boxes, we move families.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game on KSAN. The Sterling City Eagles took a tough loss last week to the hands of the El Dorado Eagles on their home turf. Tonight, they have a chance to move into first place within District 5-2A with a win. The Sterling City Eagles are on the road tonight, taking on the Wink Wildcats for that number 1 spot in District 5-2A. They would fall in this one 28-6 at the hand of the Wink Wildcats. All right, let's get you caught up on some more 11-man games across the Concho Valley. We start things off with one of our few remaining teams left here undefeated, the Mason Punchers. At 8-0, took on the Stockdale Brahmas on the road. Stockdale has yet to win a district game this season, and the Punchers continue that feat here in this one, moving to 9-0 overall after their 40-21 victory over Stockdale. The Junction Eagles are coming off defeat last week to the Mason Punchers. This week, taking on the Johnson City Eagles here at home. Johnson City beat Junction last year 56-14 in Week 10, and tonight they do it again with the win 36-22 over Junction. The high-powered offense of the Miles Bulldogs back to work. First quarter, as you can see, the Plowboys strike first in this one. Jace Haring extension with the end to the touchdown for the game's first points. Miles will respond right back. Havenbrook connects with Jalen Torres, who reaches into the pay dirt for the Bulldog touchdown to get them on the board. Second quarter now, Roscoe handoff to Ivan McCann. Here it is right here. Again, pushes through to find the end zone, and they would get on the board, making it 14-7. Miles will fall in this one tonight by a point, 34-33. El Dorado really raised some eyebrows last week in their 24-0 shutout over the Sterling City Eagles on the road. Tonight, they went on the road to face the Ira Ann Braves at Braves Stadium. Tonight, they will fall in a close one, 27-20 versus the Braves. And for our final 11-man contest of the night, we have the Water Valley Wildcats taking on McCamey. Wildcats coming off a great win in Week 9 over Ira Ann, 28-13 on the road. However, tonight, the Wildcats just didn't have enough to get it done. They will fall in this one 36-30. Let's take a look to see how that District 5 2A that we were just talking about is shaping up here in the 2023 season. We have the Wink Wildcats at number 1 off the victory over Sterling City tonight, followed by McCamey at number 2, then El Dorado over Sterling City at 2 and 3, and Water Valley and Ira Ann round out those final spots. All right, stay with us. We'll be back with more Inside the Game right here after this break.
Advanced Custom Windows, the smart choice for clear savings. Savings you'll not only see in our prices, but also greater savings you'll see in your energy bill. Call us today for your free in-home consultation or go to the Concho Valley homepage and click on the Experts tab.
Reagan County invites you out to the Wild Game Supper November 25th at the Reagan County Community Building. The doors open at 5 and the meal starts at 6. Get your raffle tickets to win one of 82 quality guns and accessories with a 2023 Can-Am Defender Max HD7 as the grand prize. You can also compete in the 4-H Shooting Sports Open Competition November 24th and 25th at the Reagan County 4-H Barns. There will be awards and scholarships in each age category, and awards will be awarded at the Game Supper. So don't miss the Reagan County Wild Game Supper November 25th at 5 p.m.
Lubbock, Texas on a Saturday night. One of those places that just does college football right. Miles Price pulls it in. Brooks, touchdown Red Raiders.
Throws in direction, it's intercepted. Coming the other way, Malik Dunlap. He's going to score. Touchdown Red Raiders.
The Locker Room is back on ConchoValleyHomepage.com with high school football scores, highlights, and top stories available right from your computer or phone. The Locker Room on ConchoValleyHomepage.com. Log on and get in the game today.
The Arion County Hornets and the Menard Yellow Jackets went at it tonight on the gridiron for our KSAN Game of the Week. We were able to catch up with both teams before tonight's matchup. Let's take a look.
Our Week 10 KSAN Game of the Week takes us over to the Menard Yellow Jackets hosting the top team in District 13 1A, the Arion County Hornets, but they're no stranger to tough teams.
They played a lot more football than everybody else the last couple of years, getting 3-4 rounds deep in the playoffs, and so it's a little bit different animal, but Robert Lee and Very Best have done a pretty good job getting us ready mentally and physically for something like this.
Just try to get some momentum going so we can use it against Arion County.
The Yellow Jackets know the task ahead of them, and they are focusing on pressuring the Hornets to keep them out of the end zone.
We're going to have to rely on pressure. These guys, like I said, have seen it. They know what pressure feels like, but we're going to try to pin it back and send it a little bit just because they just are just so high-powered and just have so many different guys that they can go to.
We're going to work on tackling a lot this week, and hopefully that'll be a lot better than it has been the past 2 games.
The road team, Arion County, coming into this one 2-0 in district, a team that is seeing a lot of success on the gridiron.
I think we got to get out on top. Okay, it's better to be on top than to have to come back. A couple times this year we've had to come back. Menard's going to come out and play well at home, and we just got to match their intensity and then go take it.
The Hornets, with only 2 losses on the season, look to dominate over the Yellow Jackets and keep them off the scoreboard.
One thing I would definitely keep your eyes on is we come with a chip on our shoulder. We know how last year went, and we're not going to let them score this year.
Execute on offense. You know, everybody's going to change defense, make adjustments. So just execution, going back to basics, blocking schemes and all that.
The Yellow Jackets hosting the Hornets in a District 13 1A matchup out on the gridiron. Hornets on the move. Iron Davis fakes the handoff here, rolling out, looking for his man downfield, connecting with Parker Posey for the snag, and he'll catch, and he'll walk right into the end zone for the game's first score. Yellow Jackets turn to respond to handoff to Wyatt Terrell, and he'll find the perfect hole to get himself into the end zone to knot this one up at 7. Hornets back in the pocket. Davis again looking downfield, a cannon of an arm down the field to Tyler Henderson, strolling right into the end zone, making it look easy. Hornets on top. A quick pitch out to Jaden Payton for Menard. Wait for the hole. There it is. He turns on the gas and says goodbye, Hornets. Menard still in this one. Arion County goes on to get the victory here tonight over Menard, 77-32. All right, what a great game that was and a great win for the Arion County Hornets. Shelby is live from Finley Field to give us a recap of this one. Shelby, tell us more about the game that we just watched.
I got hair all in my face, Keon. It's kind of windy outside, but this was a pretty even game all night long. Arion County did not hold back one bit. They held the lead the entire game, but Menard was quietly knocking on their door with each touchdown with a response right back. The beginning of this one started really slow with the refs calling back and forth flags against both teams, but once both teams started getting going, we started seeing a bit more of a competitive battle out on the gridiron. Wyatt Terrell and Jaden Payton really controlled things for the Yellow Jackets, both with a couple of touchdowns for themselves, and Payton with a few game-changing plays, including an interception there in the second half. At the end of the third quarter, Erie County led this one 56-32, utilizing all of their weapons in Parker Posey, Tyler Henderson, Wyatt Morris, and Colton Laudermilk. Ultimately, the Hornets take this one 77-32 and look to go perfect in district next week in the final week of district play. Menard hits the road to take on the Eden Bulldogs, looking for their first district win. Well, that's all from Finley Field. I'm Shelby Rhodes, KSAN Sports. I'll send things back to you, Keon.
This live shot is sponsored by AFCO Steel.
All right, thank you for that one, Shelby. The next two teams here met on the gridiron for a combined 44 times, including tonight. No love lost between these two programs as they look for the Week 10 victory. The Eden Bulldogs hit the road this week to take on the Robert Lee Steers. Opening kickoff of the game for the Eden Bulldogs, Jaime Cervantes catches the kick off the bounce, makes a man miss, and turns on the Jets, gets to the outside, and is gone. The Eden Bulldogs strike first in this one, making it 7-0. Steers on offense now. Brenner Sherwood gets the handoff and lets it rip over the top of the Bulldog defender to Wyatt Bosworth, who hauls it in to catch it and evens things up at 7. After the stop on defense, it's Sherwood again, this time rolling to his right, buying time as he scans down the field, dumps it off to Brody Pitcock, who beats the Eden defender to the pylon, making it 14-7, Steers on top. Eden with the response. Ezra Gamboa with the rush pass option here, keeps the ball, spins out of a would-be tackler, and lasers one to the wide open Jevin Petrilli in the end zone for 6. Robert Lee goes on to win this one 64-18. The Blackwell Hornets versus the Bront Longhorns tonight in the Week 10 matchup. All right, here in the first, Jacob Rivera scrambling right to find his man in the big fella, Ryder Antley, who is making his way to the end zone, a touchdown on the opening drive for the Hornets. Brown looking for a response. Jaden Galvan hands off to Spencer Smith. He finds an opening, and he will be in for the Longhorns, tying this one up. Blackwell looking to regain the lead. Carter Cummings using his feet to find the end zone, making it 14-8, Hornets in front. Longhorns ready to strike again, and Galvin finds his man Smith wide open to keep this game back and forth. And with a minute left to go, Longhorns trailing by 4. Galvan scrambles looking for his man, and there is Aiden Sperry with the catch and falls into the end zone to give Longhorns the lead 46-42. Bront wins this one in a thriller of a game 46-42 over Blackwell. The Paint Rock Indians are an even 4-4 in the season and 0-1 in District 14 1A play. Tonight, we're looking to change just that. All right, taking on the Moran Bulldogs tonight at home, the Paint Rock Indians would do just that. And this game right now, we still are looking to find that score, so we'll have that up on the website. As we take a look at things shaping up here in District 13 1A, it looks to be a battle to the finish line. Next week's game between Erie County and Robert Lee will be for the district championship, both 1 and 2 going at it, followed by the very best Falcons, who were on a bye here in Week 10, and Menard at 4, and then the Eden Bulldogs at 5. All right, stay with us. We'll be back with more Inside the Game right here after the break.
This Veterans Day, Trend Furniture is having a giveaway for all veterans and active duty. All you need to do if you're a veteran or active duty is to come down to Trend Furniture and register to win one of 4 recliners given away during the month of November. All winners must have a valid military ID. So come in and register for your chance to win. Thank you, veterans and active duty of the Concho Valley.
Pro-level performance at work and at home. Right now, save $20 on the VGA57 battery blower. Real steel. Find yours.
Welcome back to Inside the Game. Well, that's a wrap here for Week 10 of high school football, and now it's time to welcome in Week 11, the final week of the regular season and our KSAN Game of the Week. We'll be taking a trip to Bulldog Stadium in our final week of the regular season for Miles versus Cross Plains game. Miles possesses one of the most explosive offenses here in the Concho Valley and are instant fireworks anytime they step onto the field, looking to bounce back after tonight's loss. These two have matched up in Week 10 of last season, in which Miles dominated from start to finish 49-21. We'll have you fully covered throughout the week to see how the Bulldogs are preparing and get that bounce back win, like I said, for this huge game. All right, what a week it was here in Week 10 of the season, and we're looking forward to seeing what happens next week in the regular season finale. You all have a great night, and I will see you again next week at 10:15.
Catering for Inside the Game is provided by Chick-fil-A.
Inside the Game is sponsored by Mitchell Automotive Group.